Sorry about that. My my stuff was off. Hey, now it's Brace for Impact, and I'm your host, Mike Gilbert, and I'm going solo one not ass, but it's still the same. We're talking Impact Wrestling. We got a big multi or not multiverse, sorry, a big Victory Roadshow coming on tonight. And last night we had the go home show for that, and I thought it was a pretty decent show. Some fun stuff happened there. I think the big story of the night. And I'm going to get into the play or the seg by seg stuff in a little bit, but I think the most interesting thing that happened on Impact last night was Alisha Edwards was in a really good segment. I was I was shocked. So earlier in the week, Impact they promoted that there would be a contract signing between Trinity and Alisha Edwards, and I kind of rolled my eyes. And I talked about it on Twitter. Some people called me out on it. Said, "Hey, man, you might want to scale this one back because this one actually ruled." From those that were there live, like I think Joel Pearl there was another guy that he goes to all the Impact shows. God, I can't remember his name. I just tweeted him this morning, but he always wears like a shirt and a tie, but it's like he doesn't button the collar and he doesn't tuck it in like he's Tom Petty, which I think rules. By the way, I love Tom Petty, so that's not an insult. But that always reminds me when I see that kid in the front row, and he just always has his collar open with a tie. But he was like, "No, it was actually a really good segment," and I was like, "I'm not believing these people, right?" And so I go into it with this preconceived notion that it's going to be terrible, or that I'm going to get mad at these people for suggesting that I watch an Alisha Edwards segment, because typically, whenever I didn't do Brace for Impact when we were on hiatus for a little while, I I didn't actually, if it was Alisha Edwards or if it was just like a segment that I just wasn't interested in, I just didn't watch it. Like it's like ain't nobody got time for that kind of nonsense. So I just didn't watch it. And so but now that I'm doing it, I'm like, okay, I can't skip this stuff anymore because I have a commitment to the audience. I have a commitment to Patreon. And I have a commitment to the Brace for Impact folks. And I think I'm going to put some of this stuff on YouTube. So I want people to be able to watch it, engage it, and know that I'm actually watching this stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this stupid thing, and then I'm going to shit all over it. I go into it, and from the moment Alisha Edwards comes out, she's getting on my nerves, but like in a good way. Like she's doing her job. She's got this ridiculous outfit on. She's got these platform shoes. She's drinking champagne down to the ring. And immediately I'm like, okay, we might have something here. And then she cuts this promo, and I'm like, damn, she's actually cutting a really good promo. And Trinity's just sitting there taking, and Eddie's being an idiot behind her, kind of like dancing around and like and cheering for everything she's saying and like filling up her champagne glass. And I'm like, this is actually really entertaining. And then she hits a couple lines on Santino about his stupid accent, and she's saying it in her stupid accent. And then Trinity finally gets the microphone. She goes, "I'm sorry, I couldn't understand you with your stupid accent." And Alisha Edwards is so offended. This was really good. And Eddie chimes in, and then Trinity tells Eddie to basically back off or whatever. And then Alicia's like, you're just jealous because your man, even if he wanted to be here, he couldn't be here. And then she threw the champagne into Trinity's eyes, and you could tell that actually was burning her eyes, which she admitted later on Twitter that it did burn her eyes. And they get into a fight, and the next thing you know, Eddie hits the Blue Thunder Bomb on Trinity through a table. Segment over. Tom Hannafin was tremendous, calling Eddie a son of a bitch, and the whole thing. I was like, God, this is actually really good TV. I don't think the match is going to be any good because neither Trinity nor Alisha Edwards are the best workers, but I think they could have a fun match if they do enough smoke and mirrors. And there's some people out there that are suggesting that maybe that this could lead to Jacob Fatu showing up. Hey, I'm all for it, man. I'm not going to say like, oh, that's impossible. I don't know what's possible. I don't know what the nature of that guy's deal is with MLW. He had wrestled Josh Alexander on that Ric Flair show a year ago. And So they've worked together in the past. So I'm not going to say it's impossible. I don't know that it's probable, but I think that that would be cool, because that is Uso number one's brother. So, or not brother, I'm sorry, cousin. That's their cousin. So he is a Fatu, and Trinity's last name is Fatu. So that'd be cool to bring in one of her family members to combat Eddie. I know Frankie Kazarian kind of came to her aid during that whole deal, but he's also got his match coming up with Eddie and Alisha on Impact 1000 with Tracy Brooks or in a mixed tag match. So I don't know how all that's going to work out, but I found that to be a very entertaining segment. So I wanted to go ahead and lead with that because I was negative going into it, and I was proven wrong. And anytime I'm proven wrong, I like to admit that I was wrong. But let's go ahead and get into the show, man. I want to start off with the CM Punk to Impact rumors. So I talked about it last night on the Mike and JD show. SRS Sean Ross Sapp said he would give it like this is his like ballpark figure. He didn't really put a lot of thought into this, so nobody think that this is actually like a legitimate number. But he was saying that he would give it like a 30% chance that Punk goes to Impact. And I think some of the Impact faithful are gravitating towards that number because most people are saying there's a 0% chance. I'm not a guy that would say 0. I don't think it's very likely. I would say it's less than 30%, but Sapp knows that company better than I. Like, he actually knows people that work there and talks to people. I don't. So if he's saying 30%, that's much better than what I was thinking. So I don't think there's a great chance. This is also, I just was reading the Wrestling Observer this morning, and Dave Meltzer did mention the possibility of Impact. He said, for those who believe Punk's career is over, the only way that would be the case is if he decides it himself. While the money may not be as good, he could walk into Impact tomorrow with open arms, or New Japan Pro Wrestling soon enough if he would choose to. And basically what Sapp and Jimmy Van and what other folks are saying is like Impact would absolutely take him. There's no way they could pay him what he's worth. But they could probably pay him really good, but not like what he would be getting from WWE or AEW. And so this would have to be like a for love of the game type of move for Impact if that's what he wanted, or for Punk if that's what he wanted to do. And I've been saying it all along that he's not a guy that you want on your show every week. He's not a guy that you want in your locker room every week. If you can get him to accept like a Brock Lesnar type deal, then that might be something that you could look into. Gerard, he actually posted an article about this 30% chance on Body Slam. Unfortunately, Sapp was pretty upset at that, so I got taken down, but I thought he did a pretty good job with the article because he also referenced when he referenced the possibility of Punk going there. He did the research and that talked about Chris Jericho, who had mentioned that before he signed with AEW, he had been negotiations with Impact where it was a 7-figure deal that he was negotiating, and it was for like 4 or 5 matches. Kind of like a UFC type deal where you're doing it by a number of matches versus like a number of years. And that's what I think that whoever does sign him, that's what they should do with Punk. Don't sign him to like a 50 show deal over, an 18-month period. You sign him to 6 matches. You say, here, what's your number? Okay, let's do that 6 matches. And then I want you to at least one of the tapings beforehand to promote the match. And so we're talking 12 shows, and we'll do that. As opposed, and then the shows we'll get you on 4 pay-per-views, right? So 4 out of the 6 would be pay-per-views, and 2 of the matches would be premium live events, meaning like the monthly Impact Plus specials. So that's the only way that would work. You're not going to want that guy, embedded into your locker room so often right? Because the guy's a grumpy. He he's not somebody that you're going to want around a ton. He's going to try to take things over, and you don't want that. You want him to like just focus on him, focus on what he's got to do, focus on his matches. Don't give him any authority. Don't make him a producer, which is what AEW did, and that I think that poisoned the well. They made him an employee, so he felt like the weight of the world was on his shoulders. Just like, dude, just come in, have some fun. If they could do that, I don't see it happening. Sab says he predicts 30%, or that's like his ballpark figure. I think it's way under that. I honestly think that there's a stronger chance he goes back to WWE, because I know for a fact that they're interested, or at least certain people in that company are interested. Sorry, swig of coffee for the working man. It is 5:33 a.m., so I got to get that medicine at me. So, yeah, I think that I did hear that Cody had been reaching out to him, trying to get the conversation going. So maybe they could bridge that gap. Crazier things have happened. Bruno Sammartino came back to the WWE. Ultimate Warrior came back. Sting, he never had to burn bridge there, but he ended up going in after years and years of saying he would never go. So, crazier things have happened. I don't see that one happening either. I think the more likely thing is that Punk retires, but there are rumors out there that he might not be ready to. He might not be done yet. So we look. A lot of this is up in the air. Nobody really knows for sure what's going to happen, and I'm going to be curious to see how all this stuff plays out. But yeah, but Punk, hottest free agent out there, and Impact is definitely interested from what Meltzer is saying, and from what Sapp is saying, and from what they have said themselves to PW Insider. So we will see, man. We will see. WrestleNomics reported the ratings for Impact for August 24th. They were at 99,000 viewers. So I didn't have that number last week. So, yep, 99,000 viewers. So they were below that 100,000. But the following week, they were at August 31st. They were up to 134,000, which is very strong for that show. So ratings kind of continue to kind of fluctuate a little bit, but their peaks are pretty high. So anytime they fall below 100,000, that's not a good thing for them. But 134,000, that's pretty strong. So that would be one of their top 2 or 3 ratings for the year, which was just last week. So I don't have the numbers for this week. So hopefully by the time I review Victory Road, I'll have those numbers if they were in the top 150. But considering the NFL was on last night and it was on NBC and not Amazon Prime, I doubt that they'll be in that top 150. Because a lot of wrestling fans would rather watch football sometimes. So, Team 3D. I thought this was interesting. Team 3D had signed a WWE Legends deal, so they have basically Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley, the Dudley Boys, have re-signed with WWE in their Legends department. Why is that interesting to Impact? Well, Bully Ray and Devon and brother Devon, they have a match this weekend in Impact, and then Bully Ray has a match tonight on Victory Road against PCO, and he has been a main fixture on television for the last year. I don't know how that's going to affect this. Typically, when guys sign WWE Legends deals, they don't work Impact. WWE doesn't really like it when their talent works other TV. Not that they are the talent, like they can do indies and stuff like that. The Legends contracts, Bret Hart is like everywhere. And they do all the signings and all that stuff, but they're not really allowed to do other television. So maybe they have a clause in their contract where they can do Impact. If so, cool. If not, I guess this probably spells the end of Bully in Impact after his negotiated dates are over, and we'll see where that leads. But that's going to be another interesting situation to play out, because while we might not have liked all the things that Bully has done on television, I can say definitively that what he has done on television has been decently successful. The ratings have reflected that, and the live event numbers have reflected that. And whether or not we could say definitively that it was him that have driven that up, I think he's part of it. I think that, what may not appeal to guys like you and me have more of a wider appeal to other folks, and what he's done is pretty much worked. Um, so good for him. He's had a decent run this last year as far as all that goes. Um, but maybe his time and impact is up. Maybe his latest run. I mean, look, it's been a year long. So if it is, then good. Good. Hey, that's a heck of a run. Good for him. All right. So before we get into the Victory Road card, I just want to run down the last night's impact really quick. It wasn't really other than the contract signing, there wasn't really much that was all that interesting. There's a couple good matches, but nothing really like blow away that you got to go out of your way to see. I think there was one match that it's like, I think if they release it on YouTube, or they probably already have, it's early, I haven't checked YouTube yet, but you could probably go ahead and check that out. But we'll see. On BTI, Ace Austin defeated Jason Hotch, and that was talking BTI. Thank you, folks. Thank you for talking BTI with us. Jason Hotch is a good wrestler, but he never wins, so I don't care about him. So, and then we go to the main card. So we're building a Victory Road. Deanna Peraza defeated Danny Luna in the opening match. This was okay. Subculture taken a lot of L's since they lost the titles. Makes me think that they're probably not coming back until the UK tour. I don't know that for a fact. That's just what I think. So we'll see. But this was a decent little match here. Crazy Steve was in a pre-tape promo. Some people like in the not Victory Road, and the Voices of Wrestling Discord were kind of crapping on this Crazy Steve stuff. And I was surprised to see that, because I was like, I find this to be compelling. And that's why it's important not to read the internet before you watch TV. So, because like what doesn't appeal to somebody else might actually appeal to you. And I was watching this, I was like, I think Steve's doing a great job. I like the mask. I like the whole gimmick. And I think he's taking on Black Toe Roos coming up at Victory Road. So, and I'm looking forward to that match. I think it's going to be cool. And then Tommy Dreamer cut a fiery babyface promo. Boy, that Tommy Dreamer will cry on your ass. He's an emotional cat. He's had a lot of trauma, man, and he's had a tough year. And this coming up in White Plains, New York, the convention center there where they're taping tonight, is very important to him. I guess that was like the place where he saw his first wrestling match. He had his WWE tryout there. He main evented there with ECW. So he's had a lot of history in that at White Plains, New York. So, and I guess his mom had passed away like close to the venue in the hospital. So he's putting all of his eggs in this basket against Kenny King, and I'll get into my predictions, but I don't think it's going to go the way that you guys think it's going to go. Swig of coffee for the working man. Next up, we got Joe Hendry and Yuya Uemura. There's a rumor going around that Uemura is returning to New Japan soon. I don't know how accurate it is, but that's what people are saying. We'll see. They just started this Joe gimmick, but I don't know. We'll see. Like, I thought that when Uemura came here, like they were gonna push him like he was a big star, but he's kind of just been an undercard now, kind of turned into a comedy guy. I thought they would put him in like these highly competitive matches where he loses at the last minute, kind of like Kevin Knight, which is what we see with Leo Rush later tonight. And Kevin Knight has those awesome matches, and he always comes up short, and like you just get behind him because you know that eventually he's going to get the W. I thought that's what they would do with Uemura, but they just never did that. And now he's kind of a comedy guy, and it's kind of funny that he looks so awkward and out of place during doing the comedy. And Hendry is this is their answer to Adam Cole and MJF, the Brochachos, like this odd couple, kind of forcing it. I think eventually one of them's going to turn on the other. We'll see, but I just don't know how much longer Uemura is going to be here. So we'll keep an eye on that. But the Josiah here, thank you, Josiah, for sending in your report. Said this was a fun match, nothing special, but it's clear Hendry and Uemura getting over. I definitely see that. It's super cheese, and super cheese gets over in wrestling. So, but good match. Hendry and Uemura, they defeated Champagne Singh and Mahabali Shira. Steve Macklin backstage with Bully Ray. Macklin claimed that everything they planned was within reach, and Bully Ray argued against that, and then they started kind of arguing. I think that, and that, Bully was saying that, nothing that he's ever been able to do to PCO has worked, and yada yada yada. And then they kind of got in each other's face a little bit. And at one point, Bully Ray asked him to be a good soldier and just fall in line, and Macklin didn't really like that. A, Macklin's a Marine, and B, Bully doesn't outrank Macklin. So maybe in wrestling he does, but not in the military. So he's a civilian. So I think, last year at Bound for Glory, Bully pinned Macklin, and that pissed me off. It still pisses me off. I think that they're leading it towards a Bully Ray Steve Macklin match at Bound for Glory. That's my prediction. If Bully gets to stay around longer, I think that's where they end the whole deal. And then Alexander was with Miro. Gia Miller, talked about his match with Macklin at Victory Road. Yeah, I think he thinks he's going to win, guys. So there you go. And then we had Callahan and Rich Swann defeated Subculture. So yeah, Subculture jobbing out. Looks like, which makes me think that they might not be around for a little bit. I'm sure they'll be around for the UK shows though. But they're probably not. I don't see that they're booked for Victory Road, and I don't see them booked for Impact 1000. So I don't know if they're going to be around until the UK shows in late October, but I do get the feeling they will be there for those shows. And this match was fine. It was good. Nothing too great. It was a good tag match. Swan and Callahan getting the victory, so they're going to get the tag title shot against the Rascals. I would say that it was going to be that it would be a Bound for Glory, but Bound for Glory being a big show, I get the feeling they're going to probably put like every tag team they have on the roster in the same match. So that's typically what they do for those. Giselle Shaw, Savannah Evans, and Jai Vidal were backstage, and they talked about how Shaw eliminated MK Ultra from the Battle Royal, so they were going to challenge for the tag titles. Well, that's how you get a title shot. Just eliminate somebody from a Battle Royal. There you go. Rascals backstage talking about their title reign. Good Hands walked up, said they deserve a title shot. And the Rascals said, well, if you can make sure that we keep these titles, then maybe we'll give you a shot down the road. So Rascals are manipulating the Good Hand jobbers, and Tom Hannafin was screaming collusion. So I think they figured it out, guys, that the Good Hands have been helping the Rascals all along. And match of the night was Lio Rush defeating Kevin Knight. I really enjoyed this match. Kevin Knight is fantastic, and so is Lio Rush. Lio Rush is so perfect for Impact. He's such a great heel to be the X Division champion. I hope they get to keep him around for a while. And Knight is tremendous too. I think New Japan really has something with this Knight kid. He is the young lion that I thought that Uemura was going to be when they brought him over, but they have actually been treating Kevin Knight that way. He's been in these awesome matches where he just kind of comes up a little short. So I really enjoyed this. Make sure you go out of your way to watch it. After the match was over, Lio Rush continued the attack on Kevin Knight, and Kushida made the save. And Kushida and Lio Rush tonight at Victory Road. So be sure to check that out. And then Dango and Bravo did a promo. They were actually in front of Lake Huron or something like that. I think it's Lake Huron or Lake Ontario, whatever it is in Toronto. I don't know my Canada lakes. So although the lake does spill over into the U.S., so maybe I should know a little bit more, but I don't know much about the Northeast. But they did a promo talking about Impact 1000 and saying, man, I can't believe they got to 1000. He goes, I hope I'm not here to 2000. Pretty funny. And then he made fun of Jake Something's promo. These Dango and Bravo stuff's pretty good. They really did win me over. And then we had a hype video for Jordan Grace. And basically, she's just being really buff. She ripped up a picture of Diana, and then I think she's going to go lift weights. But they're really pushing that she's 0-4 against Perazo. So, which tells me that Jordan Grace is going to get the dub there. And then Santino was in the ring. He introduced Alisha Edwards and Trinity. And then they proceeded to have the contract signing that I think that everybody should give this a shot, because I think we all have this preconceived notion about Alisha Edwards as being terrible because we've seen her be terrible for so long, but she was really good in this, and she deserves credit for how entertaining she was during this segment. I thought they did a great job. I thought Eddie did a great job. Trinity did a great job. Santino was funny. Like, the whole thing just worked. Everybody go out of your way to check it out. Josiah says this segment was awesome. The match, not sure about, but the segment was great. I agree. I really, really enjoyed this segment. So check it out, everybody. And then we go to the Machine Guns. They talked about how they were going to get the tag team titles back in Victory Road and that they were going to defeat the Rascals who have disgraced the titles. So good babyface promo here by the Guns. And then in the main event, Bully Ray and Steve Macklin defeated Josh Alexander and PCO. So we'll go to the finish here. Ray tagged in, but ate a drop kick from Alexander. Alexander went for a suplex on Ray, but Ray broke out and hit a few jabs. Ray showboated a bit, so Alexander necked him on the ropes, and as Alexander hit the ropes, Macklin low-bridged him, and Alexander fell to the floor. They got the heat on Alexander, but for a Macklin. But Macklin did everything he could to keep PCO from Bully Ray until Bully was yelling for Carl again. And PCO paused briefly before trying to hit a choke slam, but Macklin saved him again, and PCO swung wildly, almost hit the referee. The referee ducked down, and while he was ducked down, Ray took advantage, hit a low blow with a roll-up for the victory. Main event was okay. Clearly just a storyline to get to the next level there, or to get to Victory Road tonight, which is what a go home show is. So nothing too crazy. Good storytelling. I thought it was a decent go home show. And I'm very much looking forward to the Victory Road show tonight. So on the countdown to Victory Road, we got Alan Angels has an open challenge. And I think that it's probably going to be Fuego. He's been rumored to come into Impact for a while, and I think he's an American guy, but he does a lucha gimmick, and Impact loves luchadors that lose. And so Fuego del Job is a perfect guy for Impact. He can come in with his stupid mask and he can lose. He's not very good. He's not very entertaining, but he's got AEW cred and he loses all the time. So I guess they're going to probably bring this guy in. We'll see. Or it could be somebody completely different. I have no idea. That's just my guess. We also got ABC versus Moose and Myers on the countdown to Victory Road. And then as we get into the Victory Road pay-per-view, we got the Knockouts World Championship, Trinity versus Alisha Edwards. This is going to be interesting. I think we're getting a lot of smoke and mirrors on that one, but Trinity comes away with the victory. Then we got Deonna Purrazzo versus Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace talking about how she's 0-4 against Purrazzo. I don't know what Purrazzo's status is going forward with the company. Grace has signed a long-term deal. I think Grace gets the victory here, and maybe we'll see Grace versus Trinity at Bound for Glory, which would be great. Then we got the X Division Championship, Leo Rush versus Kushida, who won at Slammiversary. He won the Ultimate X. So, I think that I think Leo Rush gets the victory here, although crazier things have happened. I haven't really understood how they're doing their titles this year, but we still got to get to our Leo Rush Chris Sabin match, which appears to be not happening. Leo Rush should get the victory, and I think it'll be a great match. They had a match earlier this year at Multiverse that I really liked, so hopefully they crank it up a notch here. Knockouts tag title match, MK Ultra versus Giselle Shaw. Who cares? I mean, Giselle Shaw, they already had a tag title match last show. I mean, it was a multi-person, and then they get a title shot because they, eliminated somebody from a battle royal. Who cares? MK Ultra should win. Digital Media Championship, Kenny King versus Tommy Dreamer. I think Tommy's getting this one. His promos have been far too emotional. It's White Plains, New York. It's a special place to him. I don't think that he wants his last match to be on an undercard of an Impact PLE going head-to-head with SmackDown Live. Really, the only people watching this thing are those of us listening to the show right now. Like, it's not going to be a large number of people watching this. So White Plains, New York is a special place. It's going to be one of their bigger crowds, and I'm going to talk about the crowd here in a little bit. I got some numbers for everybody. But, I think Tommy wins this one, man. I think Tommy's got it. Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin. In my opinion, this is the main event, and I think Alexander takes it because obviously we're going for Alexander versus Shelley at Bound for Glory. But it should be a great match. Bully Ray versus PCO, anything goes. I think PCO takes this one. Although Bully Ray never wins, so maybe you know what? I'm changing it. I'm gonna go Bully Ray. PCO loses a lot of his big matches too, but I think maybe Bully Ray takes it because I do think we're getting Bully and Macklin at Bound for Glory. And then we got Crazy Steve versus Black Taurus. Black Taurus, guys, if you're following along, is a luchador. So he's going to lose. Crazy Steve takes the victory there. This is the beginning of their feud. Steve is the heel. I think Steve takes it. And then, of course, we got the Impact World Tag Team Championships. Excuse me, the Rascals versus the Motor City Machine Guns. I think the Rascals get the victory here. And maybe there's going to be some chicanery, but it should be a really good show. I'm really looking forward to it. Now, I do have some numbers. So last week when I talked about the show, I said, "Oh, they got some good ticket sales, but I didn't know what those were." Well, sure enough, Patreon subscriber, friend of the show, he goes by Dobby the Brain Heenan, actually commented on the Patreon post. He put a comment in there and he said, "Dude, I actually counted the tickets. Now you can't count general admission tickets, so he doesn't have those numbers. But what he does have is that they put 580 floor seats on sale. So those are the reserve seats. So 580 floor seats were on sale. And so for Impact 1000, they only had 11 floor seats left for Impact 1000 and 61 floor seats left for Victory Road tonight out of 580. So both of them have crossed the 500 threshold of reserve seats. Now, why is it important that I continue to say reserve seats? Because the greater number is general admission. They put a limited number of reserve seats on sale, and those are the most expensive ones. General admission are the least expensive ones, which you're going to sell a lot more of those than you would your reserve seats. So those are going to be the folks up in the bleachers. And I prefer bleacher seating. I don't like to be sitting on the floor. So, but so yeah, I think that they're probably gonna have upwards of 1,000 people both nights, and I think that's awesome. Good for Impact. That's a pretty strong show for Impact on a Friday night and on a Saturday night. And as of right now, the Impact taping, which this typically doesn't happen, the Impact taping, because it's a special show, it's Impact 1000, is actually doing better than the premium live event the night before on Friday night. So then doing that typically doesn't happen. But it is Impact 1000. They are bringing back all the big stars. They got a meet and greet festival happening and all the stuff. They're bringing back everybody. So anybody that's available that can come in, they're bringing in. So, so the Victory Road is going to be a smashing success. I don't know how many people are going to watch Victory Road, but Impact 1000 should be pretty big next week. I'm looking forward to it. And if you're on Patreon, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for helping out the show. Feel free to correct me in the comments. I will read those comments and then I will correct myself the following week. So I really do appreciate that. But until next, so Victory Road is tonight. This is Friday night. So it's Friday morning when I'm recording this. So it'll happen tonight. I'm going to try to watch what I can tonight. And then I will do my best to get up early tomorrow morning and finish the show and then knock out a recap, because I'm not going to be able to do it on Sunday. So it has to be done either tomorrow morning or tomorrow night. So hopefully by tomorrow or at the latest Sunday, I'll have a Victory Road recap for everybody. So until that recap comes out, thank you for joining us. And until next time, mahalo.